What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Battle Tested. Tonight's going to be a good one, but before we get started, let's pray. In the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, Amen. Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke us, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all evil spirits who prowl throughout the world, seeking the ruins of souls. Amen. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. All right. So tonight I have my guest tonight is Stevi from Truth or Demons podcast. We're going to talk to her about her podcast and all that. So let me bring her on. And there she is. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, all right. How are you?
Pretty good.
So
I think I need to
tonight
get
I
new
want to
internet.
find out. Yeah, it's possible. Mine does the same thing too. It's mine's actually gonna lag for some reason. I don't know why. I haven't figured it out. I'll have to call tech support, aka my wife. But tonight I want to find out if it's truth or demons. Uh,
Same.
so why don't you give us a little bit about yourself and we'll start there.
Alrighty. My name is Stevie, and I host Truth or Demons podcast. It started as a podcast and now has migrated to YouTube. So I have a few episodes on YouTube now. I started the podcast to do a deeper dive into the paranormal so I could find the truth behind things like really famous movies like The Conjuring. That's where I got started. When I saw that movie, I thought it was a brilliant film, very well done as far as scary movies go. But I knew the story was a little bit less than truthful. So that's what drove me to start the show.
Yeah,
I thought other people might like
it's
to
Hollywood.
hear about what I found and learned in my research, and it progressed, and I have found a lot, and it's been really interesting and really fun.
I found your show one day. I was at work and I was looking for something to listen to. I work on trucks and farm equipment and stuff like that, and so I'll have my earbuds in and I'll be listening to something because this time of year we have a guy who plays Christmas music all day long, and it just gets to you. It's just like, ugh, I don't mind Christmas music, but it gets to be a little bit much. So I'll be listening to podcasts and stuff, and yours popped up, and I'm like, all right, this looks pretty interesting. And I thought it was going to be something uh, different, like um, almost like a game show type thing. And
Yeah.
I started listening to it, and I'm like, all right. And then you started talking about the Warrens and stuff, and I have a few friends who worked with the Warrens and all that, and and then you started talking and then I started listening to it more and more. I uh, I actually didn't believe what you were saying at first until I actually went back and kind of looked into it as well. And a lot of what you were saying is the truth. So I give you that, and I'm happy. I'm happy that there is somebody out there that is willing to take the heat and expose. Um, I don't want to say frauds, but I guess the paranormal field for what it's becoming or what it's became. I don't know. Are you a paranormal investigator? I think you've been on a few ghost hunts
I
that I
am.
heard.
I'm
Okay.
not.
How long have you been
I'm
doing it?
a bit very amateur, but I've definitely done a few throughout the last probably 20 years here and there. So
I'm gonna say I've been doing it for about 25 years, and I'm gonna say 20 years ago it was not what it is today. I mean, first of all, we didn't have YouTube paranormal like we do today. Second, everybody wasn't trying to be famous, and third, everybody worked with everybody. You go up, hey, you want to go out investigate this place? Sure, let's go. It didn't matter your team or who you were with or whatever. It was just friends going out and investigating with friends, and I kind of missed that. And
yes.
you know, um, but what led you? What led you to? look into, well, you said the Conjuring House led you to look into the Warrens more. Well, how did you get into? I guess you followed the trail up until today, like today's thing. Forgive me, I don't know if I sound like
I
I'm
think
babbling.
I lost you. My dang
Oh, you're breaking up.
internet.
Internet problems again. I'm not sure if it's you or me. Let's see. No, it doesn't look like it's me.
I
Sorry,
don't
guys. I
even know if
guess
I'm still
we're having.
live.
Oh, you're. We can hear you. You're frozen though. You still there? Oh, my screen glitched. Oh, we lost her. Uh-oh. Let's give her a few minutes. Oh, now my internet's coming on. Connection is unstable. Whatever. Those would be probably the entities not wanting me to talk about this stuff. But yeah, let's give Stevie a few minutes, and we'll get back on. If anybody has any questions or anything, anybody's watching, come on. There she is. She's back. Device is not connected. There she
Hi,
is.
sorry about that. I don't know if that's my internet or.
Like I said earlier, it happens a lot around here. Um, I actually had a couple of haunted dolls here one time, and my internet. I was doing a show on somebody else's podcast, and my internet was just freezing so bad. I was watching the podcast on my phone, so I didn't miss anything. But yeah, my internet kept freezing up on me, and it was ridiculous. But
Yeah, gotta love technology.
so now I don't remember what my question was. What was it? It was something. It was something about how you got into it with The Conjuring and
That's right.
and Ed and Lorraine Warren
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, the Warrens were my main focus because I wanted to reveal the truth behind all their cases because thanks to The Conjuring, for example, we had stories about a woman who was accused of being a witch and she wasn't, and her actual headstone was desecrated for it. So that's what drove me. I wanted to share the truth so people knew, like, don't hate on a person that like really had nothing to do with it. She was just, her name was used to be a fictional character, and people, I thought it was important that people knew, like they understood that that was fiction. And even though these people did exist, like Ed and Lorraine Warren, these stories we're being presented with in movies are way, way off. Hi, Kristen.
Hello, Kristen. Yeah, there was I've read what I could find on those more famous cases and stuff, and there is a lot of things that I find wrong with it, um, and or why they didn't do it. I think you brought this up. The first thing is they were devout Catholics, um, and in Catholicism, going to, well, actually, I should say the Bible. The Bible. I'm not going to say leave it to Catholicism, but the Bible says that mediums are not good. And I'm paraphrasing. They're abominable to the Lord. And I thought that I always thought that was interesting that she was a medium, but she was a devout Catholic as well.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking her. I have friends who are mediums and stuff like that. I just tell them, look, this is what can happen. Just keep this in mind and stuff. And I'm wondering, I think maybe she knew that, and well, they both knew it, and they just kept going. But I believe that their intentions were good. I think they just went about it a different way.
Yeah, and it's interesting you bring up her being a medium and also being devout. Her mediumship gets brought into question a lot. I get asked a lot if I believe she was truly a psychic. I don't know. I've heard, stories, firsthand accounts from people that experienced the Warrens that are on both ends of that, where they thought she was faking or they thought she was 100% legit. But what I find most interesting about Lorraine and her mediumship is she has different stories on how she realized it as she was a medium. Like she says in one story, in one account, she says that she was a little girl at school at she went to a very religious school, and I'm sorry, I can't think of the name of the school she was in, but it was very religious, run by nuns, that kind of thing.
Don't worry, it
So
happens to me all the time.
yeah, those brain fart moments. But yeah, so apparently during a tree
Mhm.
planting ceremony, she saw them plant a baby tree, a new sapling. And then she says that in front of her eyes, as a little kid, like 7 or 8, the tree reached full maturity and she looked up, like leaned her head back and looked up and saw it as a full grown tree, like in her mind's eye, I guess. And a nun happened to notice her behavior, asked her what she was doing, and she said she was looking up at the tree. And then she was scolded for having a psychic vision, I guess. And then another instance, she says that her first psychic or her first revelation of knowing she was psychic was when she noticed Mother Superior's lights were brighter than another nun's, and she was scolded for commenting on that.
Yeah,
So
I've heard that.
and then she claims both these times were her first instances. So that's what bugs me, because there's a lot of changing of stories. And then she has some other times I've found throughout interviews, because I've watched so many interviews and I've read their books and stuff, and it's always a different story. So that's what bugs me about it. I don't want to discount her having any abilities because of that, but it definitely makes me scratch my head that there's so many versions of her own truth.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard the story about how she saw the nuns' lights were brighter than Mother Superior's or whatever it was. That's the only one I've ever heard. And
Mhm.
again, they don't really affect me as as much as some other people would. I'm grateful for their work in the field and bringing this to attention. But I do think, and I do, and I'm guilty of it. I get cases confused all the time. I got I got a ton of cases that I have on my plate that I just can't remember which one's which. I'll have to go to the email. I'll have to ask somebody who I have working on it with me and stuff like that. So there is this doing the work does take a toll on you. It drains your energy. It makes you tired. Um, but I'm just curious if that ever happened to them at all. Like it happens
Yeah.
to most people. Um, have you ever heard anything like that? Yeah.
Have I ever heard anything about what?
Yeah. So I mean, I know in the field, and I'm an exorcist for the uh, Anglican Diocese of St. Louis the Ninth and the Order of Exorcists. And one of the jobs of the exorcist is, well, of the demonology field, is to promote, well, not really promote it, but get the word out about demons,
Hmm.
and the demonic, and that this can happen to you. This is real. And I believe, and I said this to somebody who was very close to them, and I believe that that's what they were trying to do. And it was different times than it is today. So they had to, they didn't have social media or anything like that. So they went to the next best thing, which was the news sources. And
Hmm.
I believe, I try to see both sides of it, but I try to stay neutral at the same time, if that makes
Oh,
sense.
I understand that. Yeah, it's hard sometimes.
Um, and Yeah, yeah, it is. But like I said, I believe that that's what their intentions were good. They just went about it a different way than we would have today.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
can understand that. And I've actually had
So
it's about
what have
50-50
you
as far as
uncovered
people
with
thinking they're good.
the modern day? Yeah.
I'm so sorry. What did you say?
Oh, you're breaking up. I was no, I was talking. I guess I was talking over you. What were you saying?
Um,
God, this
oh,
lag
I was
sucks.
saying, it's about, I get with the people I talk to, it's about 50-50. A lot of people think they're
There
amazing,
we
and then a
go.
lot of people think they were scam
Now I can
artists.
hear you.
So it's split down the middle.
Sorry, folks. Anybody who watches the show knows that we have issues, connections, and stuff like that. So just please bear with us. I think I might start pre-recording shows.
Yeah, I think I better get new internet soon. This keeps
Did we
happening to me
lose?
too.
We still there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. All right. Um, crap, I lost my train of thought again.
I do
What was
that.
it? What So what differences have you found any differences between the Warrens versus their legacy team today, Nesper?
So, yes. So as far as when the Warrens were actively investigating and trying to help people, that was their main focus, was trying to help people. They were constantly going to homes where they were hearing about people having issues with, whether it be a poltergeist, whether it be demon activity, whether it be just haunting activity they couldn't explain. They were going to places all the time, is what I've heard, what I've found in the research. They were very active investigators. They also did tons and tons of lectures, trying to bring the information to their community, to other communities. I really believe that their goal was to get the information out. Whether or not they did it in the right way is, up for debate. But the difference now, I think, with NESPR, the way the New England Society for Psychic Research is run now, with because they left it to their son-in-law, Tony Spira. I don't think it's run as an investigation organization anymore. I feel like it's more for entertainment, because like the main thing is they made Annabelle a money grab. Annabelle, when the Warrens were alive, was, everyone knew you don't touch her, you don't look at her, you don't take her out of the case. She's supposed to be extremely dangerous. All these things that they pushed, and then now Nesper just wants to show her off to everybody and tell ridiculous stories that aren't true about her and what she's done and the havoc she's caused. And he took her on an airplane. Like, he took her on an airplane with people, unknowing that they were on an airplane with a supposed killer doll, and took her to Vegas to make money off of her. So that's a major difference to me. It's
Yeah,
become from investigation to entertainment.
yeah, I've noticed that. And I know we did like an event last year in Cape May, New Jersey. Um, it was a beautiful place down there, and the weather was great. It was in November. It was the 70s. 70-degree weather. It was great. We couldn't ask for better weather. But anyway, and I had brought down a couple of the items that I have removed from cases that had some attachments to them and were reported to be haunted. And they were pretty active. One of my lead investigator for the paranormal side of what we do. Um, he was attacked pretty bad, and he took a year off because of what happened. I mean, he was having all kinds of back issues to the point where his back locked up. He couldn't even move, and stuff. So when you do take them out, it is dangerous. I know I went to their Paracon. Was it September?
Mhm.
Yeah, September in Gettysburg. I could feel the negativity and stuff there. I'm not saying it was from Annabelle or what, because I didn't bother to go in there. You see one haunted doll, you seen them all. But you could feel the negative energy and the negativity, which we'll get into that later. Um, but and I have to agree with you. I think they've gone more. I think it's gone to their heads
Mhm.
because they feel they can make money off of these things by putting other people in danger.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, it's not. When I dad, I do have respect for him, for keeping all that, but I don't respect the fact that they're using it as a money grab, like you said. Um, in fact, I had somebody ask me to see the haunted items that I have, and I told her no, I don't do that, and for simple obvious reasons, you know. But negatives, yes, oh yes, it was. I I some of the things I saw there, I was, let's say, uncomfortable. There were a couple transgender people there, and yeah, I'm not into that. If you want to be that, that's fine, but it makes me uncomfortable being around that kind of stuff. So, but how I know they know who you are. I know Tony knows who you are, and Dan Rivera knows who you are, and all that. Are they? Have they tried? Have they tried to stop you from your podcast at all?
Um, so yes, they know who I am. They send trolls after me. I don't. So ever since I outed them for the fake story with the guy in Lindley Street, and that guy like completely flat out lying about being a part of it, and then finding out he was a criminal and what he did that was so bad.
I just
They
listened to
sent
that
trolls
episode the
after
other day.
me. Yeah, and they've had people telling me they know my real name and they're gonna dox me, which the name that they think is my real name is not my real name. So I find that interesting.
Oh, jeez. Oh boy. That's that's not good.
No, and that's
What did
illegal.
they say your real name is, or what are they
They
claiming your
think
real
so.
name
They
is?
commented on my
Oh, shoot.
YouTube and said that they know my real name is Michelle, and that they know my parents, that this Michelle person's parents are criminals, and they're going to expose everything. And I heard that people are being told they should have run a background check
Wow.
on me before coming on my show. I've heard some pretty interesting things, so it's been fun.
Wow. Have you ever invited them on your show to kind of set the record straight?
Um, I did reach out to Tony in the very beginning, in the very, very beginning, before I covered anything even related to him. I thought I could try. I thought, even though I'm not his biggest fan, I thought, I'm trying to be. I've been trying to be a neutral investigative journalist. That's been my goal, and I've reached out to people I didn't really want to talk to, but thought it would be good to
Mm-hmm.
have everyone's side. So, I did reach out to Tony in the very, very beginning. Never got a response. I reached out to him via his website, which he says to do. So I'm pretty sure he saw it. But before he even knew who I was or what I did, he did not want to engage with me, which is fine. And then I've reached out, of course, to some other people, other players in different cases. Some have talked to me, some have been rude, and some don't even respond. So, and then I've talked to some that just flat out lied to me the whole time and then was
Yeah,
not
that's
anywhere
no,
useful. So,
that's what they do when when they're being exposed. They try to hide it and try to steer you in the wrong direction.
yes.
You know, and I actually tried to get Tony Sparrow on many years ago when I started all this. I was just looking for people to interview, talk to about their stuff, and his 4 different pages that he had, and finally I just gave up. He's not gonna get
Yeah.
back to
Yeah.
me, so I was like, whatever.
He seems
It
to
is what
only
it
do it
is.
if it can benefit him.
Yeah, yeah, or make a little bit of
Exactly. Yeah.
money. That I have noticed. I mean, even like with the tickets for the Paracon, they were expensive, and it really wasn't that
Yeah.
big. It was
Yeah,
for
I
all
heard
the
a lot
hype
of
that
complaints about
they hyped
prices.
it up. It was not that big.
I
You
heard
know,
that
there
too,
were a
yeah.
few paranormal teams. You know, yeah, it was. I was disappointed, and the only reason I went there is because I had to go see somebody there to pick something up for an event that we were doing together,
Mhm.
which was um, defeating the demonic in Connecticut. Which, if you ever get a chance to go to that next year, it's definitely worth it.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
but it yeah, it was defeating the demonic was thought up by Jason McLeod, who's a demonologist trained by the Warrens, and we have real exorcists talking about their cases and what can happen and stuff like that. It was October 20th. Trying to think. Don't think there's anything on. There might be a few things on YouTube about it. I know I have a couple things on my YouTube and stuff for what I was talking about and stuff. But yeah, if you ever, I mean, you'll see it on my pages. The dates are set and all that. But if you get a chance, if you're able to get there to Connecticut or wherever he's holding it, it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth
Okay.
it. But
Awesome. There's a lot I would love to go do up in the New England
yeah.
area.
So let's. Oh yeah, there's a lot, but there's also a lot of drama.
I hear. Yes.
As you found out, as you have found out in the field, there's a lot of drama in the field. A lot of it started by one person, by one team or group or whatever.
Yes.
At least in my opinion, you know that would be get haunted.
Yep, I've
It seems
noticed
like
that. Yes.
every little bit of drama revolves around them. And how did you actually find out about all that with Get Haunted and Rob Stakowitz?
Yep, I definitely agree.
Did you? Oh, I guess you didn't hear it. Can you hear me? Are you?
Yeah, I think there's a lag.
Or are we? Okay.
But yes,
How
I
did?
agree with what you said.
Okay. Stupid lag. how did how did you get involved with all that? With all that? With Get Haunted and all that? Like what? How did that land on your plate?
Actually, so because of what I do and calling out the criminal activity in the paranormal, I've been approached by several people. I started getting messages, comments, people telling me I should look into different people, different groups. And this one, Get Haunted, kept coming up. And Rob specifically kept coming up. And so I started looking into it, and I found Rob, and I found his channel. I found it on YouTube, but I think he does it via Facebook and then streams it. But I forgot I had an interaction with Rob before that, where he had streamed Nesper's video with Joe King, the guy claiming to be part of the Lindley Street story, and I had let him know, hey, you probably don't want this on your page because of why. And so that interaction was very brief, and he then wanted to, like, he said if I ever needed anything, let him know, and he took it down immediately, and while whatever. Then I found out later that he took credit for letting Nesper know about it, which I thought was funny. But then, so I'm getting all these messages and emails and comments. So I look into him and I watch one of his lives. He did it at the time I was being contacted by people. He had put up a new live. It was on a Sunday, and he was talking about a lot of the drama he was hearing about in the community. And he kept saying, let's talk, let's talk. I want to talk to these people. I want to get to the bottom of this. I don't want this drama anymore. Let's get it out in the open and discuss it. But no one was talking with him. He was just having a lot of people in the comments that were, jumping to his defense for what this reason or whatever, and he was encouraging them to defend him. So I reached out to him myself, and I said, I saw your live. I know that you have this goal to get people to talk and get to the bottom of all this drama and this nonsense. So let's talk. Would you like to come on my show and say your piece and maybe talk to some of these people and maybe figure out what's going on and I don't know, try to at least come to terms with agree to disagree, if nothing else, like stop the drama. And so he wanted to
Yeah.
have a call first. He didn't want to just come on my show, and he was really, really worried I was going to blindside him with something and put him on the spot, whatever, which that was telling to me for him to worry about that. But so I had a call with him, lasted way too long. He kept telling me it would be just a few minutes of my time, and it was almost an hour-long conversation of him repeating himself, talking in circles, refusing to, he called it, to play the screenshot game, which I asked him, I said, do you have any proof, any evidence of all these people that you claim to be harassing you? Like, can we share that? Because the whole point of it is to expose the truth so we can stop the drama. And he said, I don't play the screenshot game. He didn't want to share his so-called proof. So that didn't go anywhere. He told me he would talk to his partner, Sarah, and get back to me about coming on the show, and he didn't. I never heard from him again. But I had all these people wanting to tell their stories, and so I had them on my show, and it was just one person after the other with their stories matching up about the harassment, about the abuse, about the way he treats people, about the way he puts people against each other. And after those 4 people decided to speak their truths, we've all got messages from just random people saying, thank you for calling him out. Thank you for telling your story. A lot of them say, I was too scared to. I didn't feel comfortable coming out. I don't want to be noticed. Like, I don't want anyone to know I had these experiences with him, but thank you for outing it. And so that's where we are now. We've got lots of people trying to come forward and, tell their truths. And he still has not said a word, not to me. He's talked about me. I've heard from plenty of people the things he's been saying. And that's interesting too, because he's not addressed anything the victims have said about him, which, why?
Yeah, I've noticed that. I've noticed that. I've been kind of keeping an eye on it and watching his lives and stuff like that. And they really kind of they're trying hard to bury it. Um,
Mhm.
and even to the point where he called Facebook too dramatic. And now they're going to be moving over to Patreon, where you have to pay to watch his lives now, which I think
Yeah.
is it's stupid. I mean, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
I got a Patreon too for the church and stuff like that, and that's where I put masses up. But I also put them up on YouTube and stuff too. So, but it's you know to run away from a problem,
Mhm.
and the drama's just gotten so bad over the years. I mean, there was always drama, but it's just gotten worse. And
Yeah. And not
I hate
only
to
does
say
he
this, but
not
groups
address
like Get Haunted,
anything, he
it
just
just make
mocks
it
it.
worse. They really do. What was that? You kind of broke up.
As I say, not only is he not like addressing anything that he's been accused of, he's mocking it. Like, some of the things he was accused of was the violent threats with firearms, threatening to kill people's pets. When he did a recent
I
live and
saw
said,
that.
like, yeah, he had his name as murder plotter or something crazy like that. Like, he makes fun every time he gets accused of something deplorable, he mocks it.
Yeah, yeah. The whole thing. I believe I remember her name. One of your guests said that the whole mocking of the cult thing. That actually pisses me off,
Mhm.
because as an exorcist, I deal with that kind of stuff. I see what it does to the victims. I see what it does to the families, and by mocking that, I can't say it. I can't say what I want to, what I want to do. But it makes me angry that he does that, and I know that's not God talking. That's the devil talking, and I believe I believe him and his girlfriend, whatever the hell she is, Sarah, are influenced by the devil. In fact, I've even heard him say that about her.
Really?
I think it was a recent live. Yeah, it was a recent live. I'm not. I'll have to see if I can find it and send it to you. But I heard him say that when he knows when he's talking to her and whatever is with
Yeah,
her.
I heard this.
Yeah, and there was a time when I first I took time off from the paranormal. I had my own issues with people, so and then my wife was pregnant, my son was born, so I took some time off. I came back and we started doing investigations at a house near where I live here in Clinton, or I should say Hampton, New Jersey. And I called him when he first came on the scene, and I got him. I started talking to him about doing events there. Well, he kind of blew it off, and then I kept asking him about it, blew it off again. So I said, all right, whatever. And then she's more, yeah, I know she is. But what kind of got me was she had mentioned something that she felt weird one time. And I messaged him. I said, dude, you need to make sure she's all right. She could have an attachment or some kind of demonic attachment or something like that. And he goes, oh, well, we're both ordained priests. We can handle it. And, okay. Whatever, you want to play that game, that's fine with me. You just may, I'll just stay away from you, and I'll just kind of laugh at you when you fall on your face. But yeah, I believe that they're being run by the devil, and it's not good. It's
Yeah,
not good at all.
I definitely think that they don't have any good intentions whatsoever. I don't
No,
think that
no.
they present that they have good intentions. They present that they want to help. They present that they do this for the people or whatever. Like Nesper says, we do it to educate. No, I'm pretty sure you just do it for money. And to me, money is extremely evil, especially if you use it that way.
Yeah, 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 and I wholeheartedly agree with you on that. Just look at what he's done. He's selling shirts as a cult member,
Yeah.
and
Every time he
then
gets
giving
teased
you
about
bad
something, he
recording.
decides to make sure.
Yeah, and like I said before, a real cult, and he's acting the way he acts is very cultish.
Yes.
And the way people worship him, and it's not good. It's
No.
not good, and it's only going to lead to even worse things.
Yeah, and he has when he
And
does his lives, his
because
following
the first
says
commandment is
things
thou shalt
like,
not worship any other god but me.
right. And then his lives, he's got people in the comments saying things like, "I got your back," "I'm down to clown" is one of the quotes, and they're saying they'll go to these people's homes that they don't know. They don't know anything about them, but they'll go on his behalf and do what? Harm them? Is that really what you're insinuating?
Yeah, if that's the kind of people you're bringing into this field, then you should just stop. And I'm actually I'm working on. I kind of just started it, but I'm working on the cult of type series. Where I'm going to be talking about different cults like Satanism, the Illuminati, Get Haunted, um, and any of the other cults and stuff like that. But I really hate that I have to include Get Haunted in it, but I have to because that's exactly what he's doing. He's creating
It's
a
very
cult.
textbook.
He's becoming a cult leader, and yeah, it's I got no words for it. You know, I mean, even at what was it last week or 2 weeks ago? They were up at Mid Orange, and he was pretending to be dead in a coffin,
Yes.
and then miraculously resurrected. That's a mocking of the
Yes.
resurrection. Jesus'
Yeah.
resurrection. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. And then he had that
You
post
know,
where he was mocking the Jamestown massacre.
when I was
Like,
at the
that's a
Paracon,
real event.
yeah, that's a real event. And if they're gonna mock that event, well, then they got a one-way ticket on a southbound train, and they ain't coming north ever again.
Yep.
And but when I was at the Paracon, Jason's booth was two booths down from them, and I was talking to Jason's customers too, but I was also keeping an eye on them too, and they were running around. Sarah was dressed in whatever she was dressed in. I mean, she looked like hell. I mean, her clothes were all tattered. She looked like a, not to pick on homeless people, but she looked homeless.
Interesting.
And just thinking, I'm like, you're promoting a business, and this is the way you act and you look. I'm sorry, I don't want nothing to do with you. I even stopped and was kind of looking at him to see if I could pick anything up, and it was just like, ugh. The only thing I picked up was bad vibes.
Yeah.
They're
I
just
have another thing that kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies about them. The crying. Whenever they do lives and they both cry. Like, nothing against people who cry easy or whatever. Like, I cry at everything. If I get emotional of any sort, happy,
yeah,
angry, sad, I'm crying. But to get on YouTube and go on a live stream to cry about imaginary harassment because they're not showing proof. They're crying about these things that are being done to them, but they
yeah,
show no proof. And then, like, you expect people do just believe them and, feel bad for them. And it's just so gross feeling to witness it and be like, what are you talking? Why are you
yeah.
acting that way?
hmm Yeah, yeah, I know. I know the one video I watched with them. They were crying about Larissa Rex and her group and all that, and she was turning on the waterworks, and I'm just like, ugh. I actually turned it off. I had to turn it off. I couldn't listen to it.
Yeah, and they've made up
I mean,
now, those
don't get me
groups
wrong.
that
I'm a
were
man
at
of
each
God,
other's
but at
throats.
the
They're
same
a team
time,
again.
I can see through the BS. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm a man of God, but I can see through the BS, and I can tell. God gives me the discernment for a reason, and that's believe me, I use it, and I'm glad. I saw them coming a mile away. I called it. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about that. And
Yeah, I was
funny
pretty
story.
upset
Funny story. I
with
actually
her.
asked her to help me on a case.
You asked her what?
Did she try anything with you?
So
What were you gonna say? You were upset with Larissa?
yeah, when I put out the mini series, one of my guests referenced her. She was just a point of reference to explain a story. That was it. And she came at me. She had many of her friends come at me. They were, threatening. There was threats of lawsuits if I didn't take the episode down, and she was trying to make it all about her, and it was so dramatic. And I was
Unbelievable.
like, but it wasn't about you at all. Like, not at all. It's about the victims of Rob Stackowitz. It had nothing to do with you. And then you want to play this game, and now I mean, they did horrible things to her, and now she's buddies with them again. And it's just the alignment issues are very interesting.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I actually asked her to help me on a case one time, and I got I'm too busy. I have too many events going on and stuff like that because I needed a medium, and my medium was sick. So and but she kind of blew me off, so to speak. That was the last time I dealt with her.
Yeah.
But I keep an eye. I watch all this stuff going down, and I'm glad I'm technically not in the paranormal. Um,
Yeah, I get that.
but it still does affect me because I see the way people act. I can tell what's going on really,
Hmm.
how they're being influenced, and I can't really do anything about it because I get the look of, well, you're just crazy. Okay, whatever. I'll be here when you come to your senses. That's the
There
way
you
that's
go.
the way I look at it. You know,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and
But I mean, I
I've had
I
people
like the
accuse me
fact.
of. Oh, sorry about the lag.
Go ahead.
I've had
Yeah.
people
So
accuse me
go ahead.
of not listening to every side, and they were referring to Larissa, and there wasn't a side. It wasn't about her, and she was trying to make it about her, and that was very frustrating to me that she was trying to steal the spotlight from the victim stories, and it wasn't about her. She said, quote, "I let my guests annihilate her." And I was like, "When and where? What? How?" I was so confused. So I didn't have time for that. I don't have time to argue with you over your delusions.
Yeah. Well, even bad publicity is good publicity to some people,
Yeah.
and it's, I just want to go back to the days where, like I said earlier, you called up your buddy, hey, let's go investigate this case, or hey guys, what's happening? Let's just go investigate this case, or let's go to the Enfield house and investigate that house, you know, and stuff like that. Even the Enfield house have had their issues with Rob, and
Mhm.
I talked to them, and I'm sorry, I'm on the Enfield's house on the Enfield's house side and stuff
Yeah.
with all that. I mean, even
Yeah, I've talked to them too, and they're
I
great
can't think
people,
of her
and I've
name.
heard they've been through some horrible stuff with some of these
Yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna get up there. I'm gonna get up there one day, and I'm gonna see what I can do to help them out with that stuff. Maybe calm the negative stuff down. But I'll see one day, and when I stop being when I'm not so busy. But yeah, it's terrible how people treat people these days in this
Yeah,
field.
it really
Everybody wants
is.
to sue everybody and
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, I, I don't know. Like I said, I'm glad I'm out. When people ask me what kind of advice I have for people, just coming into the field, I tell them to run the other way
Yeah, I've heard
because
people
it's
say that before
I
because
have to.
it's gotten so
You know.
ridiculous as far as the drama goes.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, take yourself for example. You're trying to get to the truth of stories, of certain stories.
Mhm.
I'm sure there was other people before you that were doing this. I'm sure there was other people. There's going to be other people after you that do this. You know, but you're the one that everybody's going after. With the
Yep.
threats of harm, lawsuits, and stuff. And I think it was you that said on your podcast that they can't sue you for an opinion and stuff,
Right,
as well as
exactly.
you're
No,
covered
that's
under the
not a
First
thing.
Amendment, which is the freedom of speech. Yeah, you know.
Yep, and
So
people
I
threaten to
mean,
sue so much that it
ooh,
becomes
my whole
this
screen glitched.
no one knows what's
That
true,
was weird.
what's actually legitimate.
Damn demons. Hmm. Yeah, I believe me. I would love to talk to people that were involved in these things, but in these cases, a lot of them are dead. They're either
Yes.
dead or they don't want to talk about it, which is understandably, you know, understandable.
Mhm.
Because when you bring attention to it, that's when these entities can come back. And but there's just it's you kind of got to take it with a grain of salt. You kind of got to be on one. You kind of got to, like you said, you got to be neutral. You got to listen to the facts, and you got to make your own opinion and stuff like that. And like I said, I'm sure there's stories about Ed and Lorraine Warren that don't match up. There's stories about the Jersey Devil that doesn't match up. I've looked into that because I filmed for a TV show 2 years ago with that never made it to screen, but I had to look up what because they wanted me to do an exorcism, so I had to look up what I was dealing with before I can do it. And I was amazed about the stories. Stories don't line up.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do here?
Mhm.
But
Yeah. One of my favorite things about
I tried it.
researching the Warrens is how
Hmm.
when I started, I was very skeptical of the Warrens. I actually my underlying goal, my personal underlying goal was to debunk them more or less. And what I really love about what I do is how many times I've encountered people and interviewed people who have such fun, genuine, heartfelt stories about them. I think that's really good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, And it's all about making your own assessment of the situation, coming to your own conclusions. Wow,
Agreed.
yeah, yeah. So it's I'm sorry that you're going through all. You're doing your job and you're doing your job correctly. You know, because they wouldn't be going after you if it wasn't if what you're saying isn't true.
Yes, yes,
You know.
yes. I hear that a lot, and I appreciate everyone who says the things like that to me to help encourage me because I, it doesn't stress me out too bad, but it does get stressful in general to be dealing with people that are constantly lying and accusing you of lying. So that part kind of sucks, but I enjoy the parts where I help people, where I get to where people tell me thank you for putting it out because I was too, I didn't want to be in that limelight. I didn't want to be put myself out there, but thank you to you guys, the victims and everything who did have the courage to come forward. So that's the best part.
Yeah. Yeah. Truth will exactly. The truth will set you free. I mean,
Yes.
even uh, I'm surprised with robbing that whole gun thing, killing the dog and stuff like that. I don't know if I know New Jersey. New Jersey has red flag laws with firearms, and what it is you make a threat like that, like what Rob did, and somebody would call the cops and say this guy's threatening me with guns or my dog or my family or whatever, and the cops will come investigate it, take the guns away, investigate the case, and if they find any issues, they'll bring charges.
Okay.
In Pennsylvania, I've heard it is. I don't know if anybody out there, if he does threaten you like that, or if anybody threatens you. I'm not just saying him. If anybody threatens you like that, call the state police about it.
Yes.
Whether no
Yes,
matter what
definitely
state you're
file a
in,
report.
Pennsylvania, New Jersey, whatever. Don't feel that. Don't let them. Um, yeah, don't let them bully you because it's just
Yes.
going to cause more problems for you. It's going to give them a bigger head.
Hmm. And the important
I
thing
mean,
about
and
this kind of
I'm telling this to everybody, not just you.
yeah, and the important thing about this kind of harassment is people don't understand that you have to keep documentation of it because until you have enough documentation, you don't really have a case, no one will help you. But if something happens and you file a police report, that's documentation. If you get screenshots, if you get messages, save all that. Keep all that.
Yeah.
Keep the police informed, keep updating your
Well,
police report and make sure people know and it's documented.
yes, always make a police report. Absolutely. I know, like I said, in Jersey, that picture and what he wrote was enough to red flag him, and
Mhm.
stuff like that. I don't know about Pennsylvania, but in Jersey it is. So, just make a police report. This guy's threatening my dog. This guy's threatening me. You know, and eventually something will come of it. Because if it's, I
Yes.
learned some. I was a firefighter in EMT for 20 years, and one thing that stuck with me through EMT school was if it's not written down, it never happened.
Yes.
Document, document, document.
Yes, and they won't help you unless you have all your stuff
You
in a
know,
row and
so.
documented.
But we're actually coming up to the hour mark here. Do you want to plug yourself, plug your show, or anything like that?
Yeah,
This
sure.
stupid lag.
You can find me. Sorry about the delay and the lag, but you can find me on everything: Instagram, Facebook, all podcast platforms. Just search "Truth or Demons" podcast, and then I'm also on YouTube. Most of my episodes are on the podcast platforms, but I have a lot of them up on YouTube as well. But if there's anything on the YouTube or anything that you're wanting to listen to that I've done that isn't on the YouTube, it's definitely on the podcast platforms. So yeah, just search Truth or Demons podcast.
Awesome. Awesome. So, Stevie, thank you for being my guest tonight. Hang out. We'll give you a proper send off tonight. So, guys, this is Stevie from Truth or Demons. Go to her podcast. Go to her YouTube. Listen to it, and it's very entertaining as well as truthful.
Thank you.
So, all right. All right, guys. So there you have it. Have a good, you guys too. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, or happy belated Thanksgiving to everybody. And I hope if I don't see you for the holidays, I hope everybody has a good holiday, Christmas, New Year's, anything like that in advance, just in case. So let me give you all of my blessing. May the blessing of Almighty God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit come down on you and remain on you forever. Take care, guys. Have a good night.